Morning, everyone. We call this meeting to order. Today is June 17th, and this is a meeting of the Finance and Administration Committee and a special meeting of the Board of Directors of West Basin Municipal Water District. So with that, let's please determine if we have a quorum. Mr. General Manager EJ Caldwell, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'll read through roll call. Director Tommy Pavad. Here. Director Chair Scott Houston.
Here.
Director Desi Alvarez. Director Don Deere.
Here.
Director Gloria Gray.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Excellent. Public comment. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak?
Staff has not received any requests for public comment, though this meeting is being held both in person and virtually. If there's any member of the public who would like to speak, please indicate so now by raising your virtual hand. And I do not see any requests for public comment.
Great, thank you. The presentations, we have no presentations today, so we'll move into the action calendar, which is item 5A, approval of minutes. EJ.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee and board. Item 5A is approval of minutes. For this presentation, we have Desiree Quintero, our manager of administration, and this item begins on packet page 4.
Good morning, members of the committee and board. Approval of minutes can be found beginning on packet page 4. The minutes for the West Basin Municipal Water District Board of Directors meetings are an integral part of the public meeting process. Minutes provide a history of the actions taken at board meetings, which is informative not only for members of the public, but for other stakeholders as well. Minutes for the May 23rd, 2025 special board meeting budget workshop number 3 and May 28th, 2025 special board meeting have been attached for consideration and can be found beginning on packet page 6. With that, I would like to read the recommendation that the board approve the May 23rd, 2025 special board meeting minutes and the May 28th, 2025 special board meeting minutes. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Desiree. So are there any questions on this item from any of my colleagues? Okay, so I would move, not move, I will recommend that this goes to the board for approval. Director Pavai?
Yes.
Wonderful. All right. So ordered. Moving on. Let's see. We are on 5B as in boy. Approved sponsorship of fiscal year 25-26 community outreach events. It looks like we have 1, 2, 3 to go through. So go ahead, EJ, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, for this presentation, we do have Hazel Vasquez, our deputy board secretary, and this item begins on packet page 13.
Okay, good morning, Chairman Houston, members.
Good morning.
Just to start off, my voice is a little strange, so I will do my best to speak loudly enough, but if at any point I waver, just let me know and I'll do my best to get it back up. So as EJ mentioned, this item begins on packet page 13, and there are 3 items for your review consideration today. The first item that I have is for the El Segundo Women's Club. They are having their annual confetti egg fundraiser at the City of El Segundo's July 4th celebration on Friday, July 4th. Director Houston is requesting consideration for West Basin to sponsor the confetti egg fundraiser in the amount of $350, which would grant West Basin a booth or table to distribute district information, as well as an advertisement promoting district programs. The district would also be highlighted in photographs and other information shared on social media. And just for reference, West Basin has not sponsored this event in the past. And I do have a small update for this one. I didn't catch it until after we had posted the packet, but because of the date of the event being July 4th, unfortunately, it does not meet the 10-day advanced approval requirement. So I will have an amended recommendation for this, and that would be for the board to also consider waiving the requirement for that 10-day pre-approval before the event. Regarding this sponsorship request is included in attachment A, and that begins on packet page 16. The second item that I have for you today is for the Culver City Downtown Business Association. They are hosting the annual Independence Day celebration on Saturday, July 5th. At this time, Director Houston is requesting consideration for West Basin to sponsor the Independence Day celebration in the amount of $3,000, and that would grant West Basin a speaking opportunity for a district representative, as well as a booth to distribute district information. Now, typically sponsorship, a sponsorship of $5,000 or more is required in order to have this type of presence at the event, but the association has provided special consideration for West Basin, just given the partnership over the years. The district has participated as a sponsor in this event, most recently in 2024, and we did so for $3,000 and received similar benefits at the time. Prior to 2024, they actually held an annual fireworks show, and we did sponsor that in previous years as well. Information regarding this sponsorship request is included in attachment B, and you can find that beginning on packet page 21. The third item for your review and consideration today is the El Segundo Rotary Club. They are hosting their annual Movie in the Park event on Saturday, August 2nd. This year's featured movie will be Inside Out 2. Director Houston is requesting consideration for West Basin to sponsor the Movie in the Park event in the amount of $500, and that would grant West Basin a booth or table to distribute district information. In addition, the sponsorship would also include tickets to the event, as well as a small banner display and logo placement on event materials. The district has sponsored this event in the past, most recently in 2024, and we did so in the amount of $500 and received similar benefits to those being offered this year. Information regarding this request is included in attachment C, and you can find that beginning on packet page 24. And now turning your attention to packet page 15, the fiscal impact for this is a little different in the sense that these events are for fiscal year 25-26. And as you are aware, that budget has yet to be approved. So funds for the sponsorship and participation of community outreach events are included in that proposed fiscal year 25-26 community outreach budget in the amount of $75,000. Approval of these sponsorships and the amounts requested, which total $3,850, would leave a remaining balance of $71,150 as shown in attachment D, which begins on packet page 28. And now to read the recommendation, and again, I do have an amended recommendation for that first item. That would read, Director Houston recommends that the board A, provide a waiver of the 10 business day advance approval requirement, and B, approve sponsorship of the El Segundo Women's Club Confetti Egg Fundraiser on Friday, July 4th in the amount of $350. Number 2, Director Houston recommends that the board approve sponsorship of the Downtown Culver City Independence Day celebration on Saturday, July 5th in the amount of $3,000. And number 3, Director Houston recommends that the board approve sponsorship of the El Segundo Rotary Club's Movie in the Park event on Saturday, August 2nd in the amount of $500. And with that, I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Haza. Let's see, any questions from my colleagues on these?
No.
Director Gray, any questions?
No, thank you.
Great, thank you. So with that, thank you, Haza, for that notation, and I would recommend this moves forward with a yes for approval for the board. Director Favaya?
Yes.
All right.
If I could just comment, we would have that on the action calendar just because of the proposed budget hasn't been approved just yet. So it would go on the action calendar, not consent, but
Oh,
we'll
yes.
note that.
Okay, good, and then it'll be later in the agenda, I assume, after the budget item.
Yes.
And it's hard to believe we're already talking about July 4th, let alone the summer. So even I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay. So with that, thank you very much. We'll go to 5C as in cat, approval to renew the Microsoft Enterprise Agreement. EJ, if you'll present that item for us. Thanks.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, for this item, we do have Albert Plimpton, our Senior Information Technology Analyst, for the presentation. And we would note that this does begin on packet page 29.
The districts, good morning, or good afternoon now, I guess, directors. The districts that need to renew its Microsoft Enterprise Agreement to license its critical software, including Microsoft 365 Cloud Services, desktop productivity tools, and infrastructure servers like Windows Server and SQL servers. The current agreement is expiring and renewal is necessary to ensure the continuity of services, licensing compliance, and access to essential software. A quick background on the Microsoft EA. The Microsoft Enterprise Agreement is a volume licensing program designed to streamline the procurement and management of product licensing. It covers a broad range of essential applications and services used throughout the district. The renewal continues to leverage The purchasing tool that we use is a cooperative agreement with the county of Riverside. And that offers us a significant saving and allows us to purchase at the lowest cost for our group. Strategic benefits, the EA provides a number of strategic benefits, including upgrades to licensing of Microsoft products at no additional cost throughout the term. Price protection for 3 years, no increases through when we purchase. Simplified licensing tracking and compliance compared to individual product purchases. The flexibility to purchase by user instead of by device. And software assurance benefits that include support, training resources, and deployment systems. The fiscal impacts, this agreement has, or this licensing has been included in next year's budget, but would need to be included in subsequent fiscal year budgets if approved as well. Unless there's any questions, I can read the recommendation.
Go ahead and read the recommendation first, please.
The board, the recommendation is that the board authorize the general manager to enter an agreement with Microsoft and the value-added reseller Insight Public Sector Inc. for the Microsoft Enterprise Agreement for a period of 3 years from August 1st, 2025 through July 31st, 2028, for a total cost not to exceed $398,724.39.
Okay, very good. Thank you. My only question on this, at the end of the day, we have to do it. We have to move forward. We don't really have a choice. But EJ, what are your thoughts or perspective on this, please?
Yeah, I am monthly kind of taken aback by the costs of just doing business today with technology and the things that we need to make our lives easier. This is one of those items, obviously, Microsoft is needed within probably any business that's operating, and that includes a public agency like West Basin. So I stand by staff's recommendation.
Very good. Thank you. Are there any questions on this? Any questions, Director Gray?
No, thank you, though.
Okay, great. Thank you. So with that, I will recommend approval goes forward to the board, a yes, and Director Babaye.
Yes.
Very good. All right. Thank you very, very much. Let's see. Now we're on 5D as in dog. Approval for procurement and implementation of security information and event management platform. It sounds interesting. So let's go ahead with that one, EJ, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, for this item, we do have Isaiah Suarez, our information technology supervisor, and this item begins on packet page 34.
Good afternoon, Chair and Directors. So as you mentioned, this item begins on packet page 34, and to provide a background on security information event management platform, also known as a CM. So as part of the West Basin strategic efforts to advance our cybersecurity program maturity and strengthen our awareness of our infrastructure, we identified the need to replace our legacy out of support CM platform. And just essentially what a CM platform is, it's a log aggregator. Essentially compiles all the logs from all the devices, servers, your Windows accounts, every single device, whether it's our district cell phones, laptops, network, and compiles in a central repository, which then allows us to audit and provide insight into those security incidents and other items that we may need to respond to. The benefit of these type of systems is it makes logs readable to the human eye. You know, a lot of times you just open up one of these logs, it's gibberish. This platform is used to help support our response as we respond to incidents. As part of this platform, it builds into the reporting. So staff conducted a comprehensive market review and evaluated 6 CM providers. And we selected Splunk Enterprise for scalability, easy use, and alignment with public sector cybersecurity needs. There is already a large presence of Splunk throughout the industry. We made contacts through various other water agencies, special districts, and cities. And we also conducted a 3-month trial of 3 platforms and narrowed it down to Splunk. So this agreement will cover the implementation, the license, and the project costs. We ended up getting 3 bids, from 3 different vendors, and those are shown on the next packet page. Staff is recommending we move forward with, SP6, and that's gonna be contracted through CDW. As SP6 is strictly a systems integrator. They are a preferred Splunk partner. And they're also providing us the lowest cost on the software license. And that's one of the most crucial parts of it because that's what we're going to have to renew on an ongoing basis. And as you can see, compared to the other competitors, it's about 10K cheaper, which really benefits us in the long run. So I'm going to go ahead and read the recommendation and I'll open up for any questions. Staff recommends that the board authorizes the general manager to enter agreement with CDW Corporation for the purchase of Splunk Enterprise software and the implementation service to be performed by SP6 for a total not to exceed amount of $69,124.
Very good. Thank you. I'm just looking, so I'm clear. So is this for a 1 year or?
Yeah, it's a 1-year agreement, and I should probably highlight the most important of this. This is going to be reimbursed by the state and local cybersecurity grant. These are one of 4 projects that we submitted to the state for approval for grant funds, and this one was approved.
All right, very good. Any questions? Commissioner Pavayi?
Yeah, can you go back to the slide on the 3 bidders?
Yes, sir.
And then under the category of project management. So when it comes to the project management, I see SP6, they put in a dollar amount, but the other 2, they don't provide those services or?
No, their integrator, their engineer that they would assign to us would also act as a project manager, whereas SP6, they want to assign a dedicated project manager who's non-technical to make sure everything's streamlined and moves forward.
Okay. And then you mentioned about this will be covered under the grant.
Yes, sir.
So is it the total amount of what SB6?
Yes, sir.
That'll be covered under the grant. Okay. That's it. Director Houston.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, well, with that, sounds like you've done a thorough job of this too, and we appreciate that. So I would recommend it moves forward with a yes for approval. Director Pavayi?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. Now we have 5E as in Edward, award of professional services agreement for cybersecurity program assessment and development. So EJ, go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this item again will be presented by Isaiah Torres, Information Technology Supervisor, and the item begins on packet page 54.
Hello again. So as we get into this one, I just want to call out, this is another initiative that is being funded by the state and local cybersecurity grant. This project is an overall assessment on the district's cybersecurity program. And when I say program, I am talking about our policies, our procedures, and our tools. Not necessarily, hey, what software we're using, but more of the critical aspect of cybersecurity that most individuals sometimes forget. It's the policies which stand up the foundation of the project. So as the district is committed to strengthen its posture and ensuring we're alignment with the NIST cybersecurity framework and the CIS controls framework, we conducted an RFP essentially looking for 4 areas of engagement with this project. We wanted them to perform a full discovery and a baseline assessment of our current procedures, policies, and implementation plans and disaster recovery plans, and how we also respond in our incident response plan. The second phase of the project would be to perform a gap analysis and determine where areas are we lagging or what areas can be improved. The third phase is their vendors going to develop a roadmap and policy development. So essentially, they're going to look at our policies and analyze what we're missing and then make recommendations, and we're going to work together to develop those. And the last one is they're going to conduct an assessment of our current training program that we conduct to all staff. That's our typical security awareness, training users on phishing, ransomware, etc. So a little more details about the procurement aspect of this. We flew this on OpenGov's procurement system. We ended up getting 36 vendor responses. We conducted those reviews within IT, and we narrowed it down to 6 vendors, with ultimately being near in scores, near in capabilities, and we ultimately selected Cogent. They had the highest approach, the highest score, and what really set them apart from others was their technical approach and the methodology and how they were going to assess us. They provided a detailed project plan that provided realistic timetables on how they were going to address our needs. In addition, outside of there, they were providing additional free services that weren't part of the scope of work, which provided extra value to this initiative.
Can you go to that slide?
Yes. So that's going to be on the first slide in the background, second paragraph where we talk about their approach. And then on the second to last sentence, I'm sorry, this is. $55. Sorry, 54. Excuse me. And then I'll scroll down to the background, and it's going to be the second paragraph where I describe this.
Okay.
Perfect. So the importance of this project is being driven by the increasing complexity and volume of cybersecurity threats emerging to the public sector. As most of you are well aware, utilities are a primary focus of state-sponsored attackers and other hackers trying to make a quick buck. A lot of times, they even though we're a smaller utility, they just see water district, and that makes us a prime target. And so this assessment is essentially to provide that additional gap analysis to ensure what we're doing in-house is one, the right thing, and ensuring our long-term development that we've kind of planned out in-house matches up to the industry standard, NIST standard, which NIST stands for National Institutes of Standard and Technology, federal agency, and ensuring what we're doing aligns with the best practices. So the benefits of this project was the independent validation of our cybersecurity practices against national standards. This is even more thorough than me conducting a self-assessment and saying, hey, we're doing a good job. It provides that strategic roadmap with actionable priorities for improving cybersecurity posture. It provides us with up-to-date policies and incident response plans tailored to our district operations. And it provides an improved internal cybersecurity culture through targeted training and awareness. And it allows us to be better prepared for regulatory and audit inquiries related to information security. I'll go ahead and read the recommendation, and then I'll open it up for questions. So staff recommends that the board authorizes the general manager to execute a professional service agreement with Cogent Infotech Corporation for amount not to exceed $56,925. Which is a base of $49,500 with a 15% contingency of $7,425 for the district cybersecurity program assessment and development project.
Very good. Thank you. Let me ask a question or two real quick first. And one of those is, so is this the first time we're doing something like this?
This is the first time we're doing something, I would say, on the operational side of the policies and standards. We have conducted internal assessments through CISA, which is Cybersecurity Infrastructure and Security Administration. It's a federal agency. They were just out here in January conducting an assessment on our internal network. That's more of the penetration test where they're trying to hack our servers. And then previously, we've done assessments on so through Aqua, we've done self-assessments using the AWWA custom tool that they made in collaboration with CIS tools, which is essentially a self-assessment. And as part of that, we've submitted those self-assessments to the federal agency, and we've done them in-house. And that's how we started initially addressing our major concerns and, I would say, deficiencies in the past. And then we use outside sources such as CISA, and those were free services we were able to attain through the federal government. And this is now just a more focus on the policy stuff, which is unfortunately what we have done in the past is more peer review with other agencies. And now we're looking for somebody credible to say, hey, what you guys are doing is correct.
Okay. And we're getting reimbursed for this, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the only other question too, because I see you had 36 vendor submissions, although what does that actually mean? Vendor submissions, is that when they expressed interest or they actually?
Provided proposals.
They did actually, okay, they
Yes.
gave a proposal.
36.
Wow. Wow. So in the bigger picture on that side of it, does that just mean there's a lot of companies doing this or they're very hungry for business? I mean, 30, we don't hardly ever get things like that. So 36 proposals.
Yes, there was a lot of vendors. Cybersecurity is a new item, so you see a lot of vendors trying to get into business. One thing we noticed in doing our evals is a lot of the individuals didn't have the qualifications or the experience to back up what their company's doing. And then there was even some where they sounded good on paper, but when we went down to do the reference checks, hey, we've only been in company for the past year. We worked with this small person. And so you also see a lot of engineers on the SCADA side trying to get into this now. We saw a few there. So there was a long range. The cheapest proposal we got was 18,000. It was a 2-page proposal, and that tells you how much detail, to another proposal that was almost 200,000. So there's a lot of different levels of offering. And we, based off what we had and based off the Q&A during this RFP, I should mention, we had over 100 questions.
Okay.
So they really engage, and we really provided with info to provide that accurate pricing. But to kind of go back to your original question, there's a lot of vendors in this ballpark, or at least trying to get their starting.
You obviously are confident in this particular organization.
Yes. The amount of public sector customers that are had, their staffing. They even had an advisor who's written multiple cybersecurity books in the field. So we felt really comfortable with their qualifications and capabilities.
Thank you. Director provided. Go ahead.
Couple of questions. Can you go to the slide where it windows down the 36 firms down to a couple firms?
I did not
Or
do that.
you-
That was a talking point, sir.
That was okay. All right. So I like the direction where the staff is going when it comes to cybersecurity. Because I know with IBW and NECA, our National Electrical Contractor Association, we actually just added a curriculum to our apprenticeship program when it comes to cybersecurity. So, I think this is spot on. And you mentioned it, we're doing the right thing. And I'm glad that the staff is taking that on, because when it comes to cybersecurity, we have to be ready, right? We got to be ready for when these type of situations, like our systems get hacked and stuff like that. And I think with our program, our apprenticeship program, that was exactly what happened, right? A lot of those commercial entities like Target and other vendors were hacked. Their systems were hacked because they didn't really have a strong, hardware system that involves cybersecurity. So I think, going down that direction, I think that's great, EJ, moving forward. And I'm glad that the grants actually picks up this cost. We love grants. We love grants over here on this side, so.
And the grant covers the full cost. It actually came under what we budgeted initially. So even with our contingency, we're still under budget.
That's it.
Oh, thank you. And is this for how long? What's the term?
6 months.
Let's see. Director Deere, any questions? Ray, any questions?
No, I think you've answered all my questions the discussion has. Thank you.
Okay, very good. So with that, I would recommend this goes forward to the board with an approval of yes, and Director Babaye.
Yes.
Well, all right. So very good. Thank you. Thank you, Isaiah and staff. Let's see. Next item. Action calendar. So 5F as in Frank, we're going to conduct a public hearing for the adoption of resolution number 06-25-1224, imposing the fiscal year 25-26 standby charge. EJ, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this item will be presented by Wendy O'Kelly, our Chief Financial Officer. Does begin on packet page 86.
This report is for the public hearing for the adoption of resolution number 606251224, and that's imposing the fiscal year 25-26 standby charge. This is a revenue the district receives from property owners and is used for expenses that are associated with improvements to our water supply and reliability. The expected revenues for 25-26 are approximately 7.6 million. Aside from issuing a notice of intent and posting the legal notices, and in accordance with the Uniform Standby Procedures Act, a public hearing must be held prior to the adoption of the standby charges. And this meeting is scheduled for June 23rd, 2025. So if I may, I proceed with the recommendation that the board conduct the public hearing, and after the conclusion of the public hearing, consider approving, adopting, and authorizing the president to sign resolution 06251224, a resolution of the Board of Directors of the West Basin Municipal Water District imposing the standby charge for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2025, and repealing resolution number 06241209.
Very good. Thank you. Any questions? Director Provide.
Wendy, when you mentioned repealing, which one is that? Yeah, go
It
ahead.
would be the previous year. So that resolution would replace the previous year's resolution.
Okay, and what was the prior year resolution?
Same procedures, but the revenue that we received was about $5.6 million.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, I will recommend this moves forward to the board, but obviously this will be on the action calendar, right?
That's correct.
I conduct a hearing there, so I guess you could get a recommendation of yes from this committee, but good point, but go ahead. I didn't, Director Provider, do you agree we should have a public hearing? That date? We go. Okay, so we will. All right. With that, thank you very much. We'll move on to the information calendar. 6A, our quarterly debt report.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, item 6A will be presented by Leo Kelly, our Chief Financial Officer, and begins on packet page 112.
Thank you. The quarterly debt report provides the board with the most recent and current information regarding the district's outstanding debt obligations. So on page 112 through 148, I included 3 separate reports, and those reports are going to be for quarter 1, 2, and 3 for fiscal year 24-25, this fiscal year that we're in. And I just would like to highlight a couple of things on each report. On page 114, the first quarter ending September 30th, 2024, it will show you the outstanding principal balance was 166 million. And then the annual payment during that time was, for the fiscal year, it was 21.2 million. Then the quarter 2, or second quarter ending December 31st, 2024 is on page 117 of your packet. And again, the outstanding balance, principal balance, was unchanged from the previous quarter. And then finally, we move into the most recent quarter, quarter 3, or the third quarter ending fiscal year 24-25 for March 30th, 2025. That's on page 120. What was different on this report, that $3.6 million loan that's from Clean Water State Revolving Fund, that was amortized. And so you're going to see a little bit of a tick of the 166 million up, and then the payment of 21.3 million. Actually, I'm sorry, down. And the payment is 21.3 million. And that includes principal and interest. So it did come to my attention that this was part of our policy for our debt management policy. So you will see the 3 reports are being presented to you at one time.
Okay,
I will hand it back over to the chair.
thank you. Any questions on that? Okay, all right, hearing none, we'll go on to our monthly financial report, 6B in the board.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this item will be presented by Stephanie Clemente Finley, and it will begin on packet page 123.
Thank you, EJ. Good afternoon, Chair, Directors, and staff. As required by West Basin Administrative Code, staff is required to submit various financial reports to the board to keep them apprised of the financial condition and future needs of the district. The 4 monthly reports that the finance team presents are the demands list, cash and investments, water sales, and travel report. We will start with the demands list, which includes the disbursements and capital expenditures starting on page 125 through page 129. I'd like to mention that the Met invoice in the amount of 11.7 million is 57% of the total disbursement of 20.5 million for the month of May. Any questions in regards to the demands list?
No question. Any questions? Questions? Okay. Go on.
The next report is a cash and investment report starting on page 130. As of May 31st, 2025, our total market value is 75.3 million. Also on this page, you will see the breakdown of security types that make up our market value. Going to the next page, next 2 pages is our credit quality and maturity. And on pages 134 to 148 are the transaction ledgers for the month. Any questions in regards to the cash and investments report?
Question.
Thank you. Moving on. On page 145, we have our monthly water sales report. Starting with imported retail for the month of May. The total acre fee is 7,565, which is higher than budget and FY24. And then our year-to-date imported retail is 79,291, which is higher than the budget and FY24. This is also in track with our annual budget of 80,000 acre feet. The next table below is our imported barrier. May's acre feet is 579, which is lower than FY24, but higher than budget. And year-to-date, our imported retail is 8,468, which is higher than the budget, but lower than FY24. And moving on to page 146, we have our recycled water, which for the month of May, the acre feet is 2,721, which is lower than the budget and higher than FY24. And year-to-date, our recycled water is 27,919, which is lower than the budget and higher than FY24. And then below that is a breakdown of the recycled water for the barrier, refineries, disinfected triceriate acre feet per May. And then next we have our up there for any questions in regards to the water sales.
How much? Hold on for 1 second. I'm looking at this for a second. Which obviously I see on the last page, we're doing better than budget, which is good, of course. And we had a conservative budget, which is kind of where we're staying. But back to this page, so I just want to see on the refineries. Look at the numbers real quick. So they're a little below budget, right? Right, EJ?
Slightly.
Just slightly. Just slightly. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Any questions? Sales, water sales?
Mr. Chairman, I was going to say, I'm actually very pleased with where we're at. And specifically because I have an eye to the future, looking at this next fiscal year. And really one of the things that we've talked about internally is production and delivery to the barrier, which is a big piece of where we are within our budgeted recycled water sales, our inability to fully serve the barrier. And so moving into this next fiscal year, that will be a priority for West Basin to meet those demands.
And I would say before we move on, if you can bring that chart down just a little bit, Desiree. That graph, I think it is telling and it's good because versus last year, we're doing much better on recycled water production and sales. So even though we're not hitting the quote unquote budget number, but we're still doing much better, especially in these, winter going into the summer months thus far. So I think that's a good thing to point out. Actually, most of the year's been. How that all works out, we commend our staff for that, of course, let's see. Okay, go ahead with the rest of the report.
Next, we have our executive management and staff travel expense on packet page 147. Year-to-date through May, we've expended 73,000 of our budget of 101,000, leaving a balance of 27,000. And finally, we have our director's conference and travel expense on page 148. Year-to-date through May, we've expensed 25,000 of the budget of 75,000, leaving a remaining balance of 49,000.
Wonderful.
That includes section 6BA or 6B.
But thank you. I do have a quick question on the cash and investment report, just on our community banking program. Are there any of those that are going to be coming up for renewal in the near future? Our certificates of deposit or any of that we need to be aware of?
We do have Malaga that is coming up for renewal next month, as well as City First, which is coming up for renewal in August, I believe.
Okay.
The month of July and August.
Are you all already talking to them about how we renew?
Yes, so we are in contact with them.
And it seems like we're in a good place with that.
I believe so, yes. So we will, in the next few days, have conversations with Malaga.
We are looking at to reinvest that. So we're having that discussion, knowing that it's coming up, and reinvesting into another CD program.
Okay, good. What's the length of time usually for that?
The CD program, typically it's about a year, but it depends on what the maturity date is. So that's what we're trying to find out all the details on it, whether it's going to be a 3-year or if it's going to be under a year. I think what we were trying to do here, just until Stephanie and I got more acclimated, is keep some of our investments in a short-term investment versus longer term. So I think we're getting to more of a comfortable place that we may look at 3 to 5 years, and we're working with our investment management to make that determination.
Good. Thank you. And then at some point, they'll be due for a presentation, but that's a little ways down the road, or?
We're looking for the next 2 months. Malaga will come and do a presentation.
Perfect. Okay, very good. Let's see, any questions on anything?
No.
Say thank you all for those reports. And also we all know on the travel budget, I think we've all been pretty diligent and cognizant there, so I appreciate that. With that, we have no closed session on item 7. Director's comments or future agenda items. I'll start with Director Favalle. Do you have any comments or future agenda items for the committee?
Not at this time.
Director Deere.
Hello. Hello?
This month's,
One moment, Director Gray. Director Deere, go ahead.
this month's LAFCO meeting was canceled due to the problems downtown. I was suggesting that maybe we might offer up this room for a meeting, for a once a month meeting of LAFCO, if you would like to move it and have the meetings, since we're so freeway close to everyone else that goes to LAFCO. That it would become a centralized location, I thought. I don't know how the rest of the directors feel about it, though.
I'm okay with that.
Okay?
Of course, we'll reach out to Mr. Paul Novak.
Yeah.
And see, and make sure that the offers on the table, would like to, we can definitely host.
They haven't decided, they haven't stated they're interested in moving, I just, my idea, so I don't know.
I think that would be fine. Thank you, Director Deere. Let's say Director Gray.
I'm here. I'm sorry. I had another call that came through. I'm sorry. I'm back.
Oh, okay. No,
Thank you.
we're just in our
Sorry.
comments. If you had any comments.
Oh, comments. Well, thank you for all the reports today, and just thank you for that from the staff. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. And I have nothing else to add. I'll just say the same. Thank you to our staff. Excellent reports, keeping us abreast of what's going on, especially the financial conditions of the agency. And we are in June. Summer is almost here. I mean, it finally feels like summer around here. As we also are in there's just a lot of craziness going on all around us every day, every hour. Hard to keep track. But you know, for what it's worth, and maybe on that note too, I mean, EJ, I mean, you know, you're the general manager. You're working with our staff, probably on everyone's how you're all feeling and whatnot. Because even for me personally and some others, I'm sure it's a lot to take in every day in all of our roles. So, you know, just I guess that'd be my comment. EJ, please working with HR to make sure staff is feeling good and comfortable in these times, because I think it's really hard, it's stressful, you know, for a lot of us in different walks of life. So I would just put that out there. But with that, our next meeting is scheduled to be on July 15th, and we are adjourned.
Thank you, everyone.